Okay, welcome back, Year 10. This is just a little quick half-term lesson just to keep you ticking over. Even though it is half-term, I still expect this to be done, and it needs to be done by Monday, by the Monday coming, because we will be moving on when school, quote unquote, restarts again on Monday. So, as you can see, the focus for this particular series of slides, it says our objective here is to understand the impact of the development of magic bullets, including antibiotics, in terms of their impact on the treatment of disease. Last time you did a lesson, it was all about access to care and the creation of the NHS and how diseases were able to be prevented due to government action, but now we're focusing specifically on treatments. So the whole point of this series of slides is all about how there was a development of new treatments in the 20th century. Think of like the modern era that we're in now, and particularly the development of what we know as antibiotics, and the very first one being penicillin. As ever, first things first, define the keywords. Don't start till you've looked at those keywords: compound, antibiotics, and penicillin. Make sure you know what the meaning of those words are, because as we go through, particularly as you watch clips, etc., none of it will make sense if you don't know what those words mean. Okay, so to get started on the story of antibiotics, it's quite a lengthy story in that we don't go straight to, and this was the first ever antibiotic, or in terms of penicillin. There were, before we get to penicillin as the first major antibiotic, there were what we call or refer to as magic bullets, particular compounds that were able to treat specific diseases. So one specific compound for one specific disease, as opposed to how we think of antibiotics today, where a doctor might prescribe you an antibiotic and that can cover a myriad of particular illnesses that somebody might have. So the first real advancements in treatments in the 20th century was the discovery of what we refer to as magic bullets. As usual in the email, I've attached a Word document. Read that first section of the Word document and then just fill in this table. So there's three different boxes to the table, because there's three different individual scientists that you're going to come across. For each individual scientist, put their name, what was the chemical compound they found, and what specific disease or illness did it eliminate. And we refer to these as magic bullets, okay? One specific compound for one specific disease, not for several diseases at the same time. So three different scientists, what are the compounds and what disease did it eliminate? When you've done that, you'll see an extension question where I've said, well, what's the limitations of magic bullets? So you can find a specific compound that cures or eliminates a specific disease, but what is the limitation of that by the time they come around? Once you've done that, we then move on to penicillin. So penicillin was the world's first antibiotic. Now this means a particular compound that can cure a wide range of illnesses. Again, think about whenever you've been to the doctor and they've prescribed you a round of antibiotics to take for 2 weeks. Think about why you might get that and how antibiotics can cure several different things. Now, there are three key individuals when you look at the story of antibiotics, but before you fill in this table that's there, watch the clip first. So as usual in the email, there'll be a link to a YouTube clip. Watch that and take detailed notes on the story of the discovery and the development of penicillin. You start with Alexander Fleming, who's the first person to discover the penicillin mold, and then go on to Howard Florey and Ernst Chain, who worked together, and ultimately their shared work leads to the mass production of penicillin on a worldwide scale. So watch the video first, take some detailed notes, then go back to the Word document. You can go back to the Word document to get some extra help, because there's some sections that I've given you on penicillin as well. But for each of the individuals, Fleming, Florey and Chain, I've put how did their work help with treatments of disease. So essentially complete the table for each individual. What did they do and how did that help in terms of treating disease? For this particular section here, be detailed. The more detail you have on penicillin, the better. Now, This slide here goes with the next slide as well, so you'll need to pause and come back, or sorry, pause and then rewind to kind of understand the two slides. So then I want you to give me one PEE paragraph, point, evidence, explanation. And I've said, so why were there improvements in treatments in the 20th century? Now this relates to factors. The magic bullets coming about, so Salvarsan 606, Prontosil, etc. Those magic bullets that come about, and then the discovery and the development of penicillin, those are the improved treatments. But my question says, why did these improvements happen? Why were there improvements in treatments in the 20th century? And it relates to factors, which is why I've put note or reminder. I've said think about factors. Remember what our factors are: science, technology, attitudes in society, government, religion, church, sorry, etc. Think about those factors, which are all on the next slide, and then pick one, basically. Pick one and then use that to explain why there were improvements in treatments in the 20th century. So, for example, government, when you've done up to this point, you should know now, having watched the video clip and read the Word document that I've sent you, government plays a key role in why there were improvements in treatments in the 20th century. Why? Give me point, evidence, explanation. Individuals play a key role in why there are improvements in treatments in the 20th century. Why? Point, evidence, explanation. So choose one particular factor and give me a PEE paragraph explaining why treatments were able to improve in the 20th century, why we were able to suddenly eliminate certain diseases in the 20th century. Here is just reminding you what the factors are. So you may want to pause and rewind now, look at the question again, and then just relate it to, pick a factor and try to give me that paragraph as to why treatments would have improved dramatically in the 20th century. So now you could argue that this slide relates to the previous question, but there's a slight bit more detail here. Again, go back to the Word document, and there's a section specifically on the impact of science and technology in advancing medical treatments. And all I want you to do is self-explanatory. Look at the table, the role of science, the role of technology. So for each one of those two factors, science and technology, what impact, how did they contribute to these advances in medical treatments? There were significant changes in science and significant changes in technology in the 20th century that directly contributed to medical treatments improving. So read the Word document. The answers are all in the Word document. Read that, and how does science play a role, and how did technology play a role in the advancements in medical treatments? Make sure you read the right section, okay? The section that you're looking for, give me a sec, I'll just find it so I can remind you. The section that you're looking for will be the section that says the impact of science and technology on advances in medicine. So make sure you are reading the right heading to fill this table in. As usual, if there's any questions or confusions about that, email me. And then it's kind of, again, we've done activities like this before. So I said, how much had care and treatment changed then by the 20th century? Now you're lucky, because what I've basically done for you is I've summarized what we've already done in terms of 1700 to 1900. So you'll see that I filled in for treatment. I've already said, right, well, this is what we already know about treatment in 1700 to 1900. People basically used herbal remedies. They knew about germs by the 1900s or by the end of the 19th century, but no one knows how to treat them. Okay, access to care. Florence Nightingale has revamped hospitals. All of a sudden, poor people now have access to hospitals. Doctors, nurses, surgeons are available in hospitals, but the rich are still effectively getting treated in their homes because they think it's safer. By the 20th century now, I want you to compare go back now, think about what we've done in the course of this particular lesson, and what treatments are now available. So by the 20th century, what's massively changed from 1700 to 1900 to the 20th century? What types of treatments are now available? And then in terms of access to care, go back to your previous work, look at the NHS. How has access to care changed from what it was in the 1700s to the 1900s to the present day now? What types of access and, I guess, provision do people now have? And that will relate to, like I say, that will relate to the work that you've done on the NHS from last lesson. So how have things changed, or how much did things change by the 20th century? side, bit of exam practice. You do not need to give me the entire essay. This one's slightly different because the question, remember, is a how far question. Okay, remember with the how far do you agree questions, you must always, if we were doing the full essay, it would be at least one paragraph where you agree, one paragraph at least where you disagree, and then a third one where you choose to agree or disagree, then a final conclusion. For this one, so the question says, treatment of diseases and care of the sick completely changed, I've highlighted that, after 1800. What that effectively means as a question is basically saying, after 1800, the treatment of diseases and how people were cared for massively changed from what had gone before. Okay, how far do you agree? The fact it's how far means it must be two-sided, and look at the bullet points they've given you: magic bullets and the NHS. So one of those bullet points is agreeing with the statement. So think about it. Which one is agreeing with the idea that treatment of diseases and care of the sick completely changed after 1800? Okay. And then which one could you use to say, I slightly disagree with the statement that it completely changed after 1800? Okay. The key here, because some of you will look at those two bullet points, you're like, which one's the disagree? Earlier on, I think slide 2 or 3, I gave an extension question about magic bullets. Think about it. The question says completely changed. Okay, maybe, and I don't want to give the answer away, maybe you can argue with one of your paragraphs that there's a slight change but not a complete change. Think about it. So I want one paragraph where you're agreeing with the statement, point, evidence, explanation, always link back to the question, therefore this shows that there was complete change because, and then one paragraph where you're disagreeing with the statement. So you would start off, because some people are like, how do I do this again? So you'd start off by saying, in some ways I agree, or I agree with this statement to a great extent. Treatment of diseases and care of the sick completely changed after 1800 because of the introduction of the NHS, you might say. The NHS allowed etc. On the other hand, I slightly disagree with the statement that treatments of disease and care of the sick completely changed after 1800 because although magic bullets now came about, they were, think about it. Okay, so I want one agree and I want one disagree. This is all due Monday. Okay, so yes, I've only given it to you Wednesday, which gives you Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It gives you 5 days still. So I do want this in on Monday, and it's to keep you ticking over and to make sure that we've wrapped everything up. Any questions, as ever, just email me and ask for specific clarity. Don't email me and say I don't understand. Be specific about what it is that you don't understand. Thank you very much.